and this guy would make $5,000 or whatever. But some weekends, those guys would lose because everyone's playing.
Sounds like sharks trying to get the tender victuals.
And some days, the shark randomly would bite their ass, and they'd have to come with 10 or 20 grand and pay off.
Oh, so that was not such a big deal for Harvey, but a bigger deal for those guys.
Yeah, those guys would get screwed sometimes, but they would make a living at it.
Mm-hmm.
They just would have to be walking around with $100,000 at these tournaments so that they could handle the cases where they would lose.
So in a tournament, you're bracketed, right? Do you? It's like a 64-player bracket. Sometimes is that typical of a tournament?
Sometimes 128.
Okay, and you're playing matches, right?
Yep.
What's a match? Is a series of games like the first person to.
First of all, let's see. The Jacoby rule isn't in effect
In a tournament game.
in a tournament game. You can get gammoned on a cube that has not been turned.
Okay.
And they play the Crawford rule, which is, let's say you're playing a match to 7.
Mm-hmm.
The first person to get to 6, let's say someone gets to 6, the next game is played for only 1 point, and the cube can't be turned.
Right. Actually, we played for 1, 2, or 3 points because backgammons and gammons are still valid, but the cube is just not allowed to be turned in that game.
Okay.
So therefore, in a tournament game, you're playing a match, let's say to 7 again.
Mm-hmm.
So the first person to get to 7 wins the match, and it's
Okay. And then if you win your match, you advance into the bracket and you try to make
just
your way
like
all
the
way.
NCAA.
Yep. Cool. I kind of want to move on from the tournament thing and keep us going here. Let's talk about how emotional is the game when you're playing a tournament? I guess I saw Bob Coca playing that Gus Hansen, and boy, when Hansen started coming back, I would just feel for the guy. You know, the anxiety of playing in a tournament. Is it pretty nerve-wracking, or is it like playing a computer? You're just playing the position.
No, it's all, well, I can only speak for myself, but I always find it extremely nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
It's such that there's I don't know if there's a book with this title, but it's been called The Cruelest Game.
I was going to bring that up, yep.
And it really can be. You just have situations where literally there's the only way you can lose is 1,000,000 to 1. You know, like getting struck by lightning. And then you just actually stand there and watch somebody, you know, where one guy rolls 2-1, the next guy rolls double sixes. Then this guy rolls 2-1 again, the other guy rolls double sixes again. And you're watching this train wreck happen.
What are the odds of that happening, where he got exactly what he needed, the 2-1 to come on and hit or something, and double sixes make you bounce on a 1-point board? Or, I mean, let's just say double sixes. What are the odds of double sixes happening once?
Well, we went through this before, but that's 1 out of 36.
And what would the odds of double sixes happening twice be?
That would be 1 out of 36 squared,
Okay.
which is about 1,000 to 1.
All right, and then the next one, if double sixes 3 times would be, I think I've calculated, was 40,000, 45,000.
Yeah.
1 in 45,000 times. Double sixes happen, and double sixes 4 times in a row is over 1,000,000. It's like 1.5 million to 1.
But that's just one side of one guy doing it.
Right.
Now you look at the other side of things, which is, that he's going to roll double sixes 4 times in a row. I have to roll exactly 2-1 and then exactly 3-4 or whatever. And so those are like 17 to 1 shots.
So
1,000,000 to 1 really only takes
for
me rolling twice and you rolling twice, exactly things happening. And you'd be surprised on how that happens.
Well, I mean, you could say, well, it's 1,000,000 to 1 that I roll a 3, 4, 2, 3, 6, 1.
No,
5,
but
2.
I mean to have it cause the pain and the agony.
No, I know.
But no, say it's just a bearing off position and the guy's down. I heard this happen to you, Mark. Somebody rolled 4 sets of 5s. Keith was telling me this, and that you were in a game, and
I was in the semifinals of an advanced tournament, and
the bearing off.
my opponent rolled, I think, 3 or 4 sets of big, 5s and 6s and 4s, and
Okay.
just to get a whiff at winning, which she did win that game. And but that's what backgammon is. It's about the stories, and that
Right.
happens.
So you've seen 1,000,000 to 1 shots, like you
Well,
say, or
no.
17 million to 1, or
I don't know if I'd put it in a term of 1,000,000 to 1 shot, but it's just a game that if you play it long enough, you'll see everything happen. All the potentialities of 2 dice will happen to you, and
well, not all of them, but
Well,
it seems like it.
enough that happened in that sample space.
All right, so that's
But-
interesting. So interesting enough that you think you've kind of seen the pattern, and it never shows you anything new after you've played enough games. How many games do you think you've played in your life? Do a quick calculation for me.
467,714. I have to roll.
oh,
I was
So
counting.
you've played a lot.
Yeah, no, and on that last, the 1,000,000 to 1 thing, there's with the advent of the computer rollouts. So Mark and I will be playing. We'll get to a position. We'll go, well, I think the best play is this, or I think the best play is that, or I think your chance of winning there is this versus that. And if we cannot come to an agreement, we'll actually write down the position, stick it in one of these computer
This
models.
is what you call a proposition, a backgammon prop.
Well, whether
or-
it's a bet or not, but it's
Okay.
it's a situation where we can take that position, put it in a computer, and it will roll it out the 1,000,000 times or whatever it is, and calculate out that was 1,000,000 to 1 shot. So there can be 1,000,000 to 1 shots that the computer, that from that position, the winning chances are 1 in 1,000,000. And guess what? That guy won. So therefore, that
he
was
won
a case.
He won a case where really the computer says
It's
only
a
1 in a
million.
1,000,000 times you
Yep.
play that game from that position where you
Yep.
can win. All right. So
but you're dealing with 2 dice that only have 36 possibilities, and it's like the players that say, "Oh, lucky roll," Well, first of all, I'm in a position here where I've made this position to get to that point where I can get that.
where you've
lucky
got
roll.
more lucky rolls than you've
And-
got unlucky rolls.
And so that's why I hate it when someone says good roll.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, I've got myself in a position where, that's part of my angle, that luck, that good roll. That's part of my winning percentage in this position. And, that's my objective, is to get into positions that increase the good things that can happen and decrease the bad things that can happen. So when someone says lucky roll, or good roll, to me, that's like a put down.
It wasn't your skill that got you in that position. Oh, you just happened to be fortunate enough to get a good roll.
There's I forget who I'm quoting here, so I don't know who to give the accolade to, but there's somebody that said, yeah, I find the more I study, the luckier I get. When they're related to a game or something like that. And the brilliance of that is that, I won with a 1,000 to 1 shot, let's just say. But if I hadn't made the play before that, which took some skill, I would have had no shot at all. I would have had 0 chance.
Okay.
So I've gone from 0 to 1,000 to 1, and people go, well, big deal. Well, it's like shaving the cheese on the cheese grater. If every time I make a play, and I'm the way I play it gives me an extra 1% chance to win the game, and I do that 50 times, that's why the better players, even though there's luck involved, will tend to win almost every time.
Because enough of those little shavings get piled up, and now they've got a 60-40 chance to beat you, kind of thing. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's pause there. I do want to come back to luck, and
Let's not pause just yet.
Wow.
I'm going to pause the taping while Ray thinks about his 2 cube that you just offered him.